Oh, they have it, but we need to, that's a thing that's done by the mayor. That's not a thing that's done by the police department.
Right.
So whoever is our next mayor in the city of Shreveport needs to consider whether or not we need a civilian review panel, because the deaths that's been happening in this state and
Right.
this city
Right.
rival any city in the United States of America. So I don't know who's going to win. I hope somebody good gets in there so that they can appoint the right type of people to make the right type of decisions, so that the citizens of Shreveport could feel safe.
Right, but
But
actually, let me say this real quick. Actually, it's our, because we did it during the Marquise Husby. Actually, the state legislators is the one that have to implement that public policy, because when we tried to do it after the death of Marquise Husby, it passed the House, but when it got to the Senate, they killed it. The Republicans in the Senate killed that, so they didn't go nowhere.
But I'm talking about at
Yeah.
least as a municipal policy,
Right.
not a statewide policy where every mayor in the state has to initiate this type of proactive reasoning.
Right.
At least the city of Shreveport has the power
Right.
to initiate and allocate funds for a civilian oversight committee to make sure that these young people that are now police officers are not just leaving high school,
Right.
getting a badge, and now have a gun in their hand.
Right.
Because when we think about this stuff, man, we talking about the same people that if you get a new car and you put your son on insurance,
Right.
if he 18 years old, and that's what they talking about, you can be 18 years old, hold a gun and be a police officer.
Right.
My insurance went up when I put my 17-year-old on the car.
Right.
That was last month. Because they said those people can't think like regular people think.
Right.
So what are we to do? We have to have some form of oversight, or we're being bad stewards as adults.
Right.
Robert?
I think the whole police system needs to be overhauled, but literally from the beginning, because you got to realize the police was never set up to help black people. It was set up to catch black people. Now think about it. I understand that lawlessness will take over if you didn't have the police.
No, that's not necessarily true.
Yes, it will, because if you didn't have the police, what's to stop the criminal activity that we already see right now?
In the last 6,000 years of recorded history, police developed in the 1800s, the 17th century in the United States of America. What about prior to those 300 years? We talking about 6,000 years of history where they didn't need. Remember, police are a repressive organization.
Mm-hmm. Repressive.
They're to make sure that a certain segment of society stays in check. That's the peasant class,
you remember
the lower
Warren
classes.
versus the United States. Warren versus the United
You're
States.
still in the United States.
Warren versus the United States showed us that literally the police are not literally under the Constitution required to answer your phone calls.
No, I understand that. There
So
are
they not set up
repressive
for us.
organizations that's designed to keep the line between the classes. If you have the rich in the south part of Shreveport and you have the poor in the north part of Shreveport, the police are designed to make sure that the people of the north side of Shreveport don't go to the south side of Shreveport.
Exactly.
So let's talk to the pastor. What's going on?
Let Bishop in here as well. But
let's see what you guys say, Pastor.
Here's what my little take is on that is that the police job from the beginning was a job to watch over property. They was to watch white interests and white property. That's what their job was. When black people began after Reconstruction to advance and had the skill sets and to do this and to do that, then they took on a holistic point of view by saying now we're going to target a certain group of people or a certain demographic of people. But Curtis is definitely right, and Rob is too. But we're gonna bring Bishop in right quick and let him say something on this overall. Now, y'all know we can talk about being censored. We can talk about the mayoral race and what candidates, but we just can't call their names, y'all. So we got that cleared up. But we can talk about that. So, Bishop, turn in on what we just got through talking about. What Brother Curtis just brought a lot of information and light to our listening audience.
Amen. One of the things that I definitely agree with is that our police department has to be held accountable to a higher standard. If we commit a crime and we have to be processed and arrested, at the time we commit that crime,
Right.
and we are holding these police officers to a higher standard, then that simply means if I'm holding you to a higher standard, then your penalty should be more severe.
Right.
I shouldn't have to wait until I go to court to see you with handcuffs on.
Right.
But you're putting a bunch of steroid-infested police into our neighborhoods. We know that steroid. Come on. We know that 9 police officers here in Shreveport just, 3 years ago got fired for selling steroids. Your police, your politicians come from the pool of people that they live amongst. So if your society is basically spiritually bankrupt, you're going to get spiritual bankrupt people. You got gangbangers right now on the Shreveport, Los Angeles, police departments across America. You got gangbangers transporting drugs for their gangbanging friends in the neighborhood.
Well, actually, they call them the Gang in Blue.
The Gang in Blue.
Now, we've
They're a
always
gang.
known that throughout the whole United States, starting with Chicago in the 1920s, let's go there. That Chicago had the most,
Al Capone,
with Al Capone, had the most corrupt police department in the history of the United States until Louisiana upped the ante.
Come on.
You understand what I'm saying?
Come on.
So any show you watch, let's talk about Star Wars. It's the Empire Strikes Back. The Jedis are the good guys. They're the rebels. They're the people that's going against the major resources that subjugate and marginalize the poor. Whether those poor be black, white, green, blue. See, on Star Wars, it's a whole lot of colors, but it's based on class.
Right.
You understand?
Right.
So right now in Shreveport, if we upgrade the level of our political sophistication, we can start to understand that we need a change and we need the best people to begin to get in there and do what they are going to do. So you need to vote for somebody.
Right. And
I'm not saying who to vote for, but vote for somebody.
You're right, Kurt. And then like the people in District E, the people that in all these different districts that you see not doing anything, we can't speak directly to the person, but you know who's in that district. We're going to fix this. You know who's in that district. So the person in your district, if you're looking around your neighborhood, like Brother Curtis just say, and like Bishop always say, nothing changed is nothing changed. If ain't nothing changed in your neighborhood, you still hitting potholes like I just did a few minutes ago, and you still seeing the same elaborated housing and the infrastructure is terrible. If you seeing the same thing, Bishop say, nothing changed, nothing changed. Brother Rob, what you think?
The Bible tells us that truth gonna make you change or you gonna stay the same. You're gonna either stay the same once you hear truth. No, Pastor, you understand? Once you hear truth, whether it be Curtis telling y'all is truth about what happened with slavery in Louisiana.
Come on.
Once you hear truth, you got 2 options. To face that uncomfortable change.
Come on.
Jesus said all too often, you reject my commandments to keep up with your traditions. To keep up with your tradition, that means you are rejecting the truth of God because it has always been this way. This is the way we have always done things. Now, I'm going to show you one thing I can say.
Let me say this, and I'm going to let you go. If you want to chime in on this conversation, please call in to KOKA at 318-221-9802. That's 318-221-9802. And we need some sponsors. You're a black-owned business, white-owned business in Shreveport that wants to continue to push the envelope on the conversation on politics and real talk in the state of Louisiana, as specifically in the city of Shreveport. Please contact us. Let them know you want to sponsor Real Talk Radio at 318-221-9802. Continue to talk, Brother Robert.
Let me get in here right quick.
Go ahead,
Robert.
Bishop. Go ahead, Bishop.
I want to acknowledge some of our Facebook viewers. Apostle Derek and Tadisha Bolden, they made a comment on today, and they saying that we can't base corruption on a portion of the police force because majority of today's cops are the family members of most dope selling, drug using, and high crime committing family members. We need, okay, then. All right, I lost you. Where you at? Come back. Boy, you were talking good. He said, we need someone who is not on either side, but stand only for right and what is right. Thank you, Apostle.
But how
Bowden.
many of y'all know that your mama, your auntie, your uncle, your brother, your sister is actually out there being the criminals? Because these criminals belong to somebody. You know what I'm saying? Everybody going to church on Sunday.
Whose criminal
saying, not
is
my
this?
criminal though. You understand?
Yeah.
Now we got a slavery exception clause to the Constitution that's going to be on the ballot by November 8th. Early voting starts on October 25th. Y'all got to think about it, whether or not we want slavery to continue in the state of Louisiana or not. You have an opportunity to let the
thought
people
slavery was
decide.
abolished.
I'm just saying, explain to them how slavery still is
Slavery is
still legal.
abolished and indentured servitude except as punishment for a crime.
Come on.
But it's
So if
not
your little boy
punishment.
get caught
That's
sagging
punishment. What about
with a gun or
discipline and
whatever?
punishment? What's the
Nah.
difference between discipline and punishment?
Discipline
They
is when
punishing
you
you.
train your children to grow up right. Discipline is the root word of teaching.
Okay.
Discipline is a Latin term. It comes from disciple.
It is.
You understand? It means to learn from another. This isn't discipline they talk about. The Department of Corrections is supposed to be about corrections,
Right.
but it should be called the Department of Punishment. Because if
Two
you're
different words,
convicted
Curtis.
of a felony in the state of Louisiana, then you're going to be punished. That means that you go back into a state of slavery. You understand? That means that they can treat you any kind of way. You picking cotton, you picking okra, you picking greens, and if you don't pick what they say pick, they can shoot
Because there's
you
a
by
man
law.
on a rifle, a man on a horse. The horse is almost 7 feet tall, and he got a rifle.
Right.
You are literally now. That's not even just under the 13th Amendment. They say no man should be deprived of life, liberty, and happiness, pursue happiness, unless what? He get convicted of a felony.
Right.
So today, here you are. Slavery still exists. Only difference is your penitentiaries or your plantations. The state is the slave owner. The warden and guards
He the
are the overseers. The Negroes and other races are the prisoners.
Hey, when I was locked up, I was in Angola for 26 years, 9 months and 11 days. So I was a slave for longer than a lot of these gangsters been alive, right? One day, I was so tired of working. Man, it was so hot outside. Y'all think it's hot? We don't have no portable toilets. We didn't have no air conditioners, no cooling system, none of that. You got to work from KC night
To can't see.
can't see day again.
Man.
That's a
With a
12-hour
man
day.
with a rifle standing
with a
over. Go
man,
ahead.
and if you get shot. So I took a weight and I broke my finger with it so I wouldn't have to go out and work. Guess what? They charged me with destruction of state property.
My
Yeah,
Lord.
you belong to the state.
Man, this is a terrible criminal justice system, and it
No,
will
it's
never
no
be
justice
designed.
at all.
It's no
But
It's
justice
a
at all.
criminal.
This is
Kurt,
where we live.
Hey, let me show y'all something.
This is
How
what
many
goes
how many
on
people
every day.
in China? We talked about this. How many people in China? You got 1.7 billion people in China. How many people in America? 300 million. How many people in Louisiana? 4 million. You got more people in the state of New York, but per capita, we are locking more people up than China,
Correct.
man.
Correct.
A fun fact for the KOK listeners.
Right.
Listen to this right now. They have more people incarcerated right now, today, in 2022, than they did during chattel slavery.
Wow.
My
More
Lord.
people, and technically more people in prison in Louisiana than are in college, more black men.
Right.
Technically.
I hear these young people coming up with a slogan. They said if you come on vacation, you probably
Leave on probation.
That's what they say.
That's what we're going to do.
But
That's what they
I'm
say.
letting my co-host, y'all know I just
Now,
had
Pastor, we
surgery.
need you to chime
Yeah,
in, though.
but
Give
I
us
just
the
had
word of
surgery
God on this
my-
thing.
I had surgery on my.
Oh, okay.
So I'm trying to let them chime in as much as they can to keep the conversation going. But Curtis, enlighten the people on the chick Brittany that's they just trying to make some kind of deal. She was just sentenced to a certain amount of time. I think they said 10 years.
In Russia?
Nine and a half. She got
10
sentenced to
years.
9.5
For
years.
having
So
the,
do y'all think
CBD.
it's right of our government to swap out? They've been doing it for years.
Let me say this
What y'all think
before
about it?
Robert chime in.
Okay.
I'm going to tell y'all something, man. Right now, President of the United States, in my opinion,
Right.
And you are entitled to your opinion.
I'm entitled to my opinion. He don't have a pair. All right?
Okay.
If Donald Trump was president, it
Oh,
would be
come on.
no way
Come on.
possible that girl would be able to stay over there. You understand? Because that would have been a strike against America's superiority if we have hegemony in the United States of America over the rest of the world. Remember, we was the police of the world.
Mm-hmm.
This girl can't get caught with no marijuana and do 10 years. What Vladimir Putin is doing right now is he's demonstrating to y'all
His power.
that y'all not what you thought you was.
Right.
That's right. The state of Louisiana demonstrate that power because we got some of the most oppressive marijuana laws on the planet in Louisiana. We got cousins.
Time, the question
We
was
got
an
cousins.
international question.
All right, the
You have to
logical
think
question.
about why is this young lady
Uh-huh.
WNBA player?
Come on.
We got NBA players that have enough money to make them the third richest place in a billion years.
You know why?
Put all their money together. They have the economy to be a nation by themselves.
But she got
Why
caught with
haven't they
weed in Russia.
I don't care.
Yeah,
Had she
you
got
have to
caught
care
with
because
weed
those are
in
the
Russia
laws.
under Donald Trump's administration,
Yeah, she
wouldn't
would have.
got
Now
that
they
time.
would have had. Now what they're going to do is a prisoner swap. It's a game that they playing with us.
Right.
But guess what? I got cousins right now doing life
Right.
in the Louisiana and the federal prison system behind marijuana here in America.
Right.
So Brittany Griner, my sympathy goes out to her. But again, the biggest story to me is Breonna Taylor might be
That's
getting
the big story.
justice.
Right.
These all are stories of black people. Remember, black
Emotionalism. They want us to feel emotional.
Black is homogenous. Every color comes from the spectrum of black.
This is true.
Black and white are not races. Black and white are not ethnicities. Black and white are political constructs.
That's what they
right?
are.
Exactly.
We understand that this girl is from our family.
That's right.
Right.
She's in a foreign place. More
our
foreign than
cousin,
any
our
place
sister,
that
our
she
auntie.
could be here in the United States. So we have to say, where's Michael Jordan? Where's LeBron James?
Right.
Where's Steph Curry? In these type of situations, where is Dennis Rodman, who often visits Russia?
He actually visited North Korea, number one fan of the president of
I
North
haven't
Korea.
heard
So,
them say anything.
you're right.
And we have another problem. There's a book out. Y'all should order it. It's called $40 Million Slave.
Okay.
Right? These young men that are making these astronomical amounts of money during their contracts also have codicils in their contracts that say that they can't speak on political issues.
Even your pastor,
They can't
your
involve
politician here
themselves.
locally.
Wow.
If you have a
They can't
501c3
speak on
and
issues.
you're a pastor,
Yeah, you can't.
really can't
Now,
speak
this is
on
true.
these
This
issues.
is why
So
I fight
we
that
have money,
as
but we
a
don't have
pastor.
power.
Let's
This is
see what
why I
Bishop got
fight
to say.
that as
Okay,
a pastor.
y'all, we have a caller on the line. Caller, you want to chime in on this
Say
conversation?
what you say so I can hear it.
Okay. Just wiggle that. Oh, hold on. Plug it in.
Caller?
Yeah, plug it in right there. You can't.
Great show, man. Great show. Great show.
I'm sorry. What you say?
Keep your thought.
Yeah, can you hear?
Can you hear? Can anybody hear what you
No,
say?
I cannot hear. I don't have headphones.
I'm sorry.
on.
We're having a problem hearing what you're saying. Give me 1 second.
If y'all can't hear in the headphones.
Can anybody hear what she's saying?
Oh, you can't hear me? Okay.
Can you put her on the loudspeaker inside the
Yeah,
studio?
it's kind of very statically. He's saying,
Oh, okay.
so it's still static.
One more question, sister. I'm sorry.
I think that's a brother.
I can't hear it.
That's a brother where we can't hear.
Yeah, hey brother, we do apologize. We're having technical difficulties here at the station, and can you call back because we're getting a lot of static from, and we want to be able to hear you clearly. So if you would call right back to the station. God bless.
I'm sorry about that. But at the same time, I know a lot of the sisters got to agree that if the LGBT community came out against my favorite comedian, and I'm not really going to say his name, but he got a Netflix special called The Closer.
Yeah.
You know,
The Closer.
the dude is a good dude,
Yeah.
but they said because he said some things that he shouldn't have said that we should destroy him.
But who said
Why
that he
we
should
not?
have said it?
Why we not destroying Vladimir Putin
That's-
for putting the
But wait a
sister
minute. Who
in jail for
Who
some
said
weed?
that he should not have said what he said? There comes a point. Who tells who what you can and can't say, bro?
All right, and here's my thing.
and-
Here's my thing with and I do agree with my brother that if Trump was in office, she probably would be out. But y'all know I'm not a Trump fan, so I do say
I'm not a Trump fan
probably
either.
get out.
Whether
I'm
you
just
are or
being
not,
real
probably
with
would
you.
get out.
Life.
Hold up, y'all. She probably would get out, and he probably will hang her when she come back. So, you know, that's how Donald Trump
Like,
is.
you know,
But him and Vladimir Putin, let me say this right quick. Him and Putin are, you know, I would perform the wedding because they so in love with each other. So he probably would use that in order to get her out free.
but let me show you the
And then
danger.
I do the wedding between him and, well, no, I can't do that because I go against my principles. But I'll let y'all marry.
Now,
But
why you
Pastor,
say- when
go
Pastor
ahead,
said that,
go ahead,
that
Bishop
goes
Daniel.
back-
Yeah, go
That
ahead.
goes back
Now, let Bishop.
to, I can't say his name, but this particular comedian. Our vernacular, the things that we say, the things that we choose to express,
Right.
and integrate into the minds of others,
Right.
it comes from our upbringing.
Right.
Okay? So if it comes from our upbringing, who are you to tell me that the way I feel about something is I'm wrong for speaking about it? I may be wrong in the way that you have taken
say
it,
or whatever. Yeah.
but you
But if
can't
you're telling me
discard
though,
it.
At what
if
point
you're
do
telling
you?
me that 5 + 2 is 9,
You're wrong.
right? That's your opinion,
Yeah,
and
it
you
is your opinion.
you entitled to that opinion.
Right.
Guess what? We done had over 6,000 years of recorded history in this dispensation of humans, this human cycle,
Right.
right? Over the last 20 years, y'all have decided that your opinion matter and that the most intelligent people in the world have to be quiet because you feel like maybe today I feel like I'm an elephant, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
But
you guys
tomorrow you're a
decide,
giraffe.
hey, I'm not treating you like no elephant. I say,
Right.
but you have to respect how I feel on the inside.
Right.
Well,
right.
when do I get to
What-
express
But
what
if
I
where
feel?
your trunk at?
But yeah,
I got a Trump.
now what you gonna do?
I ain't gonna even talk about it right
Now
now.
I'm gonna be
But
real.
check this out.
Now, I ain't gonna say what I
Now,
want to say.
on your
What you
face.
gonna do when you have to go to
we only
heaven
have 4
and
minutes
stand
left.
before
So
God?
anybody that want to call, I think we have our technical issues solved. Our number is 318-221-9802.
Yep.
We want to talk about the politics of local Shreveport. This is Real Talk Radio. We have 4 minutes left. Man, I'm sorry about the
Oh, my
technical
Lord.
difficulties.
Yeah. So many.
We've had a
Time
lot of
flies.
calls that we couldn't reach you callers. But if you call in right now, let's see what's going on. Let's talk about these last 4 minutes on our local politics and on my individual thoughts from my co-host. So we're going to start with you, Pastor.
Let me ask y'all this right quick as we pass it on down the line. Do y'all think that in the mayoral race, since we can't call any names, everybody know who those people are, do you think it was fair for Adrian, or was it, well, I'm sorry, was it fair
No
for
comment.
the candidates in the mayoral race, one to be disqualified behind a simple mistake or another? So we know that it's being appealed to the Second Circuit Court of Appeals. But Louisiana, Bishop and Curtis and you all, I'm going to give it to y'all. What do y'all think about that? Do you
Let
think
me
it's
close
fair?
out and we're going to go down the line. But if I was running for mayor or any other office, senator,
Right.
representative, city council, school board, whatever,
Talk.
if I can't figure out where I live, though, how can I fix what's going on in
Where
the
at,
city?
Right.
Because this is a multi-billion-dollar operation that's going on. Shreveport has a revenue of $18 billion.
a slip of the pen.
No, we don't need no slips of the pen right now. What's going on? Talk
Come on,
to
Bishop,
Bishop
pass it on down.
as we close out.
Listen, as we close out on today, whoever you vote for, I want you to vote your conscience. Be mindful of who you putting in that seat, because at the end of the day, after you cast that vote, you cannot get it back, and we're going to be stuck with whoever you decide to vote for.
Right.
Or not vote for, because if you decide not to vote, you voting for the person that you don't want to get it.
That's it.
Again, as I always say to you, nothing changes if nothing changes.
Please register to vote, and Robert is going to close us out.
Right.
But remember, early voting starts October 25th. Our voting day is November 8th. Go all the way down the ballot. Remember that part, because everything matters, y'all. Everything matters. Robert, close us out.
Part of the game in politics is that most likely the people that you supposed to be voting for don't live in your neighborhoods. Now, in the mayor's question, we got to ask the situation, who stood to benefit the most for providing that legal challenge? But again, like Curtis say, if you don't know where you live at, because again, you got people that live around the lake that would buy a cheap house in your district
Right.
just so that they can run for office and do not have the best intentions for your district or that office
Right.
in mind. So we got to ask questions. First of all, we all know who did it.
Knows.
We all know who did it,
Right.
but we asked the mayor.